Mr. President, I rise today to voice my opposition to Dr. Califf, the President's nominee to be the Commissioner of the FDA. And I do this with all respect for Dr. Califf, his expertise, him as a quality human being, and all the work that he has done. But I'm sure that the administration is going to be able to find a position for him that suits his background better than being the head of the FDA, and I say that with all due respect. We had a thoughtful conversation when he came to visit with me. I do not believe that he can be the leader that we need to change the culture at the FDA. And I say that coming from a state that's been ravaged by this opiate addiction. And it's going to take someone who's totally committed through and through to make the changes that need to be made. The FDA and the Commissioner's #1 priority should be public health, and it is inappropriate for the FDA Commissioner to have such close financial ties with the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this, because what he has done is nothing is what most of them do. Between 2010 and 2014, Dr. Califf received money through his university salary and also his consulting fees from 26 different pharma companies, including opiate manufacturers. Dr. Califf has described FDA regulations as a barrier, not a safeguard to public health. And that is troubling in itself. In 2008, the FDA's approval of new marketing claims for existing drugs was 56%. In the first 8 months of 2015, it was 88%. This includes just last year approving OxyContin for children as young as 11 years old. At a time when opiate deaths are killing tens of thousands of Americans every day, our FDA would like to give these dangerous drugs to kids. Someone at the FDA needs to change its way of thinking. And they're given all the excuses in the world. And I said, it makes no sense whatsoever to me. Dr. Califf's past involvement with the pharmaceutical industry shows that he will not be able to be this person or a person of change that is needed. He will not have the impact or leadership capabilities that this nation needs to stem the tide of opioid crisis. These are the facts of what this horrific pain reduction, if you will, pain suppressor opiates do to Americans. Within 51 Americans every day due to an opiate overdose. 51 Americans die every day. The FDA now more than ever needs a champion who is committed to dramatically changing the way this agency handles opiates. Every other federal agency is fighting to address opiate addiction. And let me tell you about the addiction, Mr. President. There's not one of us in the Senate, there's not one person that works here that doesn't have someone in their immediate family or extended family or close friend who's not been affected by prescription drug abuse or illicit drugs. But the FDA continues to approve stronger and more dangerous opiate drugs endangering the public. In 2014, 18,893 people died due to prescription opiate overdose. Again, I've said that's 51 people every day. That's a 16% increase from 2013, and it has increased every year before that. We've lost almost 200,000 Americans to prescription opiate abuse since 1999. The FDA Commissioner is an important figure in the fight against prescription drug abuse, and he or she must be a public health official whose top priority is stopping the opiate abuse epidemic. We need to change the culture of the FDA to make them address the crisis seriously. That will not happen if the person at the helm is not a strong advocate. I said a very strong advocate who is committed to pushing back against the pressure to continually approve new opiate medications, giving the significant risk to public health just for meeting a business model or a business plan. Mr. President, I believe that the FDA needs new leadership, new focus, and new culture. This is not despairing anybody that's there or anybody that wishes to be there. And when I talk to Dr. Califf, most qualified and will do a good job in some other position, I'm sure. I believe the FDA must break its cozy relationship with the pharmaceutical industry and instead start a relationship with the millions of Americans impacted by prescription drug abuse. And it's just human nature that a person that basically has had all his research funded for many years from this industry is going to be hard to change. It is because of this belief that I will filibuster in any effort to confirm Dr. Califf. Instead of voting to confirm a nominee that will not address the concerns of the people of West Virginia and all America. I will come to the floor and read letters from those who have had their lives devastated by opiate addiction. I will read letters from children who have seen their parents die from an overdose. I will read letters from grandparents who have been forced to raise their grandchildren when their kids went to jail, rehab, or the grave. I will read letters from teachers and religious leaders who have seen their communities devastated by prescription drug abuse. I will read letters from West Virginians who need help from the FDA, not by putting more of these opiate killers on the market. I urge all of my colleagues to examine the financial support Dr. Califf has received throughout his research career and ask themselves if he is the right person to change the culture of the FDA. I'm confident when you look at all the facts, Mr. President, you will agree that we need a new nominee, one who will join us in the fight against this horrible epidemic affecting our country and every nook and cranny of this country. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.